This week, Suzanne Bureau, guest chef in residence, is here again to show you a recipe. What are you making for us today?
I'm making a very quick cookie recipe. They're called Anzac Biscuits.
Anzac, what does that mean?
It actually stands for Australia and New Zealand Army. And they were ones that were sent overseas in the First World War to the men on the line.
Fantastic. Well, I'm anxious to see how they are.
So the thing that I really like about this recipe is that it is really quick to put together. Start off with a cup of flour, just regular white flour. Put that in the bowl. And the great thing to remember about this is that everything, all the dry ingredients are 1 cup each. So I've got 1 cup of walnuts, 1 cup of coconut, and this is unsweetened dried coconut, and 1 cup of cooking oats. So add all those to the bowl. Give it a good stir. Funny thing about this recipe is it actually doesn't have any eggs, and that goes back to the historical significance of it. All of the eggs that were produced in Australia and New Zealand during the First World War were reserved for the army, and they were sent overseas as protein. So that's why these ones don't have eggs in them. But they do have half a cup of butter. So just get that half a cup of butter to melt. Another kind of a strange ingredient for this one is actually using Lyle's golden syrup, which is particular to UK recipes or the colony countries like New Zealand and Australia. And it's very similar to corn syrup, so you can substitute corn syrup if you so wish, and you only need about a tablespoon of this. Just add that in. You can remove that from the heat and give it a good stir. And I'm going to add that to our dry ingredients in the bowl. Take a teaspoon of baking soda and use a small bowl. We're going to activate this baking soda before it actually hits the batter. I'm going to take a tablespoon of boiling water that I've had sitting. I usually like to have a little bit extra because sometimes I find the batter needs it. And just add that and get that baking soda to fizz away. Give it a stir. You can see it's already activated, getting rid of some of its leavening property there. And then just add that to your dish as well. And give the whole thing a good stir. So this is where you kind of have to use your judgment a little bit. Our flour in Canada is some of the best flour in the world, and often it has a bit of a higher protein content than other countries. I'm going to reach for my boiling water and add a little bit more. You want it to be a fairly sticky batter, but still hold together. So I'm working with this and I'm realizing that I forgot to add a cup of sugar in. So I'm going to do that now. This recipe is very forgiving. Again, it's another cup. There's a cup of all the dried ingredients in here. I'll get that going. And you may again have to add a little bit of liquid to get that to really mix in there. Now if you wanted to, you could use a spoon to put this on a baking sheet. I find it's just faster and easier with my hands to start to get in here. You just want them to hold together. And about that size, stick them on your cookie sheet. And they're going to cook in a 325-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 15 minutes. So now I've got those on my cooking sheet. I want them to have quite a bit of space in between them. They are going to melt right down. I'm going to throw those in here. And again, about 15 minutes at 325. So there are the finished cookies. They're a beautiful golden color, and once they cool down, I think, Stev, you should give them a try.
I will, as soon as they cool down a little bit. Can't wait.